All right, we are live. We're gonna have to kind of see how this is gonna work today because I am completely solo. Hey, check out what I get to play with in the next few days. All right, I'm gonna tell you all about it. First off, my name's Abingdon. Thank you for joining me on this insane, crazy live. If you don't know what I'm doing here in front of a 747, which I'm like all smiles because this airplane behind me is one of the most iconic airplanes probably in aviation history. And I am standing on a jet bridge right now. Well, I shouldn't say it's a jet bridge, it's a stairway. And I'm up right at the front door. Right now, everything is buttoned up. There's nothing turned on, no electronics or anything like that. So it's kind of pointless for me to take you inside because we can't really see anything. But don't worry, there will be video about that later on. So if you have not been here before, which I know I've got one person, the first one in, I love you, checking this out. But if you haven't been here before, my name's Abingdon and you are at the Abingdon Code channel. We go on adventures with adventurous women. We talk watches and we just have a lot of fun. So I'm wearing my pilot shirt because I get to play pilot over the next few days. And the reason why I'm by myself right now is because we have this airplane completely loaded. It's on its way to a country to drop off some humanitarian aid. That is all I can say about the details of it, but I can tell you that there's over 20 hours of flying that's going to be had. And if you can kind of hear some of the sounds and everything, I'm at San Bernardino Airport right now. So you'll probably hear airplanes or see airplanes taking off behind me. You're gonna hear music because maintenance still wrapping up their stuff. You're gonna see trucks driving by. You're gonna see airplanes taxiing around. This is a very, very active airport. It's one of my favorite airports in California, San Bernardino, because it's not so much a commercial airport. When I was flying here first, this is the place that you came to do all 3 takeoffs and landings to get current, because you could just do it on one runway, because the runway is so long that all you need to do is just take off, land, and then take off again, land, and take off, and then come back around and land, and you were done. So you had your currency done right there, and you could taxi off at the end of the runway and be done. So it's a very, very unique airport that you could do that at. I don't think you could do that here anymore. But I just do want to make sure one thing before I continue on. If you can, in fact, hear me, throw a comment up that says, yes, I can totally hear you. Because like I said, I'm running solo today without my crew. And so we're just going to kind of see and make sure that this is a go. So yes, so right behind me, we've got a 7.4. I'm also going to go over some of the travel things. I'm going to go over interchangeable bands, and we're going to talk a little bit about traveling with watches, because that can be a sticky subject depending on what country you go to. Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much. So yeah, so this 747-400 used to be a Korea airplane, and it was housed down in Arizona. There's a couple fields out in the Southwest desert that they just store airplanes when they're out of service, and they either try to sell them, or they use them for parts, or they just graveyard them. And this one was housed down out by Tucson for, I don't know, a few years maybe, and then it got bought. So now it's being delivered to its owner, but it's making a very special stop on the way. And so I am part, because I do ferry airplanes as kind of a, how would I say, in addition to running a watch company, then everybody always thinks like you need to define people by jobs. If you have one job and that's it. And I really kind of find that a career can be very multifaceted. So I love flying, and just put me in an airplane, I'm gonna be smiles. So this was asked of me, since I am a ferry pilot with probably close to 80 different airplanes. In my logbook, let's see, I've got type ratings in a variety of different jets. So I have an unusual range of experience with flying. And so the crew that is ferrying this airplane has asked me to be a part of the crew. So we're going to be departing, and we did get delayed. We were actually supposed to depart today, but if anybody knows anything about ferry flying, things always get delayed. So we just had a one-day delay, not a big deal, and we're going to be departing tomorrow. And don't worry, we're taking lots of video about it. We'll make a whole episode about it, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. But while I'm here and while I have the 7.4 behind me, I figure this would be a great time to do a live, since we always do lives every other Tuesday and we go over watch stuff. So what I wanted to go over today was the challenges, the pros and cons of traveling with watches. I usually, and I have one off right now, and if anybody knows me, I'm always wearing two watches, and I'll share why. I have my other one here with me, but it's kind of separated apart because I do want to also go over one of the benefits of having interchangeable bands. I'll just tell you a story about this one time that I was ferrying an airplane to China, and I usually take one of those travel rolls. If you know what those are, it just looks like it. We actually sell one on our website. It looks like a velvet or plush roll, and it's got a protective covering over it, and you can probably line up, I think I've lined up probably about 8 watches on it, and I've traveled with that. And it's just my own personal collection of watches, depending on how long my travel is, I'll take more or less. But the unfortunate thing is when I went to China to drop off this airplane, I had my roll with me, and they almost took all of it because they thought that I was buying watches and either bringing them into the country or moving them out of the country, and potentially fakes, and just all this drama. And it's not the first time that I have been questioned at customs about bringing watches. So I've shifted gears, and what I do now is I only travel with 2 watches, and then I travel with a variety of different bands, and all the bands are completely interchangeable, and I'm going to kind of show you how that works here today. But my new travel case, which I have here, is this guy. And this is what I travel with. It's a lot lower profile than the roll that I have, and inside, this is how it looks. So I've got my other watch in here, and then I've got all the bands that I would interchange. So I really like this setup a lot better because it takes the questioning away from customs. If you've ever had watches confiscated at customs, it's not a good feeling at all. So I'm trying to kind of mitigate that and just not have that happen to me in the future. So that is basically what I'm going to show you today. All of our bands are completely interchangeable, even the metals. So I'm wearing an Amelia right now, cloud white with a steel band, and I'm going to show you basically how easy it is. And this is not, it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, did you patent this? This is existing technology in the watch world. So when you are buying watches, a lot of watch companies have done this. Usually you find it with the higher end models, but if you don't see it, then you should really tell the manufacturer, tell the company like, hey, you guys should really incorporate this. This would make things a lot easier. Because all you do is you pinch it like a toilet paper roll, and that's literally it. So I was trying to do that like on camera, so it's like so. So let me kind of show this up close and personal here. I'm going to try and see if I can get that in focus. But you see these 2 little pins right here? So those 2 little pins will pinch together just like as if you're squeezing a toilet paper roll off. So it's super, super easy. Metals, leathers, silicones, whatever you want, you just take one watch case and then take your band, and then you can give yourself a whole new look. So yeah, and then the other thing that I did, which this one I haven't seen done on a lot of watch companies, and it's the labeling of the 6 and the 12, so you know what side of the watch to put it on. Can you guys see that? Is that reflection? I know you can see it a little bit better on the leathers. But I'll tell you kind of a story. And I don't tell many people, but I guess if I'm going to put this on YouTube, I guess it's going to live in the internet forever. I was having a meeting with a watch manufacturer, and not a watch manufacturer, but a band manufacturer. I'm actually going to keep this one off. I'm not going to put it back on, and I'm just going to change while I tell you the story. Let's see. What color should I use? I'm going to go with the new brown one that goes with the new Jordan. I really like that band. So yeah, I was sitting down with a watch manufacturer here in the United States. They make straps predominantly. They do not make watches themselves, just the straps. Very, very well-known watch strap manufacturer here in the States. And sitting down with their president, going over what I wanted to start building for the watch company, and we were having a great meeting. This was probably like 2-3 days. Look at that. How cool is that? 2-3 days of just meetings and samples and going through their manufacturing process and just all sorts of stuff. And what I did, and it was actually with my black Amelia, that was the one I was wearing. I will never forget, because I had at the time only black leather straps. Now I am going to take this watch and I'm going to put this blue strap on because it matches the blue back here while I finish this story. So I'm wearing my black Amelia with my black leather strap, but I'm going to show you how I put it on. And I don't know why I did it this way. I just probably wasn't even thinking about it, honestly. And this was before I had the easy release little pins in the back there. So I was using a tool and I put on the band like so. Now, if you're a watch person, this looks obviously very, very wrong. But I just didn't even think about it. So I'm wearing the watch, right side up, like I'm wearing it so I can read it and everything. But the long side of the strap was going underneath the wrist, and one of the guys in the meeting was like, "Why are you wearing your watch strap backwards?" And somebody else kind of chimed in, and it was kind of a slight, like I got slighted in the meeting, and I don't think there was any malcontent or anything with anybody, but I was really embarrassed. So I never wanted any of my customers to ever be embarrassed like I was. So I said, I think it was on our last meeting, I said, you know what, guys, what I want to do is I want to put a 6 and a 12 at either end on the back side of the band so that people know what side of the watch it can go on. And they were like, wow, that's a brilliant idea. And I was like, thanks. And didn't even tell them that they were the reason for it. So I know, it was super observant of the guy. But I guess, you know what, that's their world. If you're in the watch world, and I do this all the time, I notice people's watches, it's one of the first things I look at when I see somebody's watch, or like when I meet somebody for the first time, is I look at what type of watch they're wearing. And because a watch, I think, really tells a lot about people. So I guess if you're in the strap world, then you do the same thing. I don't know. But yeah, so that's why we put 6 and 12 on the back. It's one of the reasons, the whole situation that happened with China where they almost took all my watches, is why I was like, let's please have the ability to change out straps without taking a bunch of tools. And so those are some of, like, all of these lives and all the different things that I'm doing where I go over the watches. I really kind of want to share the history of how I made these decisions, so you can see there's a reason behind this type of stuff. And it's taken, it's a lot of fun. It's taken sometimes an embarrassing moment or a scary moment when I thought that I was going to lose 6 of my watches. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. That's not a good idea, to take a whole bunch of watches into a country that sells a lot of fake watches. And yeah, so that's really what I wanted to share with you guys today, was interchangeability with the watch straps, how easy it is. We have a whole variety. Everything on our website is interchangeable. There's no strap that we sell, be it metal, silicone, leather, or any other material, that you cannot remove without anything but your hands. So that's just something that I'd want to make standard SOP. You're always going to get that with an Abingdon watch. And then you will also see what I'm going to be doing with the 747 here in a future episode, not that far in the future, I promise. We will get this filmed, we will get this edited quickly, and we will bring it to you as quickly as we can. So this is super cool. If you have checked it out on Instagram, I've been doing a couple lives inside while we're doing some maintenance and different things like that. So go ahead and check out the Abingdon Co. on Instagram and on Facebook, because we are doing a few lives inside the airplane. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will catch you definitely on another episode. Stay tuned. If you haven't yet subscribed, click that subscribe button, hit the bell, because honestly, if you hit that bell, you knew about today. If you didn't, FOMO. So thanks so much. I'll see you guys later.